And hello there folks, this is Uncle Troy. Today we are playing Minecraft Feed the Beast MindCrack Edition. We are going to do some more turtle stuff. Yesterday I talked to you about, or last time we tuned in, I talked to you about the miner program, which does these 3x3, does these 3x3 tunnels. And I said there was another way to do this, and that is what I call a branch program. Let's see, anything in here? Nope. Good. We'll use this later. So let's suppose you want to mine out something, but you don't want to do a 3x3 tunnel. You just want to like go through and only dig out, say, this gold here. And for that, we're going to use another program that we call Brancher. And it's very similar to Miner. Uses, oops, that didn't work. There we go. I do that because this thing is going to come back and drop off stuff. So we're going to type in Brancher, and it says we need to put fuel in slot 1, smooth stone in slot 2, dirt in slot 3, which we do not have, gravel in slot 4, which we do not have, and optional torches in slot 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alrighty, so I'll be back in a second once I have these items. Okay, that was my bad. I forgot that one of the things that this Brancher program does is that it compares what is around it, around the turtle, with the items in your inventory and says, well, we don't need to mine out more stone, we don't need to mine out more dirt, etc. Once again, let's see, normally I would put about 8 or 10 coal in here to fuel this thing, but I think I've refueled all my turtles recently. So we're going to send this thing off and we're going to watch what it does. Now what it does is this little dance where it looks at all sides, then it'll go up and look up there. And oops, and then it drops everything off because I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. Let's see, turn left. Yes, and turn left. All right, I forgot to give it a distance to mine. All right, so once again, we're going to put about 8 or 10 coal here and a few torches. All right, press enter, and he takes off. And as you can see, he looks all sides. He says nope, and he goes forward. I'm going to fill this in a little just so we can watch him. Now again, there's a lot of unnecessary movement, a lot of unnecessary use, but he saw that, so he came over here to mine it. Now he's going to look around. He sees that ahead of him, so he's going to follow that. Unfortunately, he doesn't look above and below yet. Now he's seeing a lot of stuff here, so he will mine both forward and over to the side here. Now that's a programming glitch. I need to fix that or add a feature, since he's going to come back here when he's finished and continue mining down this path. He doesn't really need to dig out anything in this line, but that'll require some positional stuff that I'm not 100% comfortable programming yet. Alright, so while he wanders off, let's pull up this program in the editor and explain how we wrote it. Alright, this is the branch mining turtle with recursion. That's the easy way. Recursion is the easy way for it to back out of this side tunnel it's building. But I'll explain that. Follows mines and follows ore seams and returns. Alright, so once again we start off by selecting slot 1 because that's where we're going to put our fuel. We're going to load up the arguments. This is very similar to Miner. Same old, show what we're doing. Starting out, remind us, just goes through slots 1 through 4. Then we check the item count of that slot. And if it's not full, then we tell them to fill the slots and quit. Again, that's not the right quit command, but it works, so I'm happy. And then we check to see if there are any torches in slot 5. And if so, we set torch to 1 so we know to later refer to that variable, torch, to know whether or not we put down torches. Oops. So he came back. So eventually he finished there. And he came back, and now he has all this in his inventory. Notice that he only has a little bit of cobble, but he has quite a bit of other materials. Also notice he has colored outside the line, so to speak. He has moved over to here things that weren't in the 3x3 section. Notice he goes over there, mines that gold, so he's going to come out here into this old tunnel just to see is there more gold. And he didn't see any, so back he goes. So, main loop. Once again, every time we take a step, we're going to increment I. We're going to point out our position, how far down the line we are, what our fuel level is. That's what that does. And then the my dig, which we showed in the previous episode, just digs forward, up and down. And then my comp, which is a new function, which we'll explain in a minute. But basically what my comp does is compares what's in the inventory, various things, to what it sees around it. That's that little where it, oops, missed my hole, where it's doing the scan thing back and forth. That's the my comparison. Now, it would love to just not dig that dirt at all, but to get to the next step of the scanning process, it has to go through. And after it compares and does various things, we'll more about this true thing here in a minute. Then it does a check where it looks to see if we're going to be going more than 8 spaces, and if we're told to put down torches, then every 8 spaces we will put down torches. And since we're going off the beaten path, so to speak, and going to be digging and following seams, I actually tell it to come back and discard the items if number 13, slot number 13, which is this one, 13, 14, 15, 16, if slot 13 has anything in it, then we'll assume he's full and come back. Now, I could wait until 16 is full, but if he's in the middle of a long side trip, going way over here to mine things out, then he might fill up. I only check when he comes back to the main path here. Oops, he's about to come down here. I wonder what he's going to do. I'll bet you he's more or less full. Yes, and he's dropping. He filled up 13 there. And now he's going back. So he's left us with this. And as you can see, we got a little bit of cobble, but not like stacks and stacks of cobble. And we have a high percentage of ores and stuff. So, assuming he made it all the way down, we're going to assume that worked and he made it back. So he's going to come back, one to go, check the fuel, move forward, dig. Then he's going to drop all his inventory, 1 through 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 16. He's going to select each slot, drop it down into the chest, then he's going to go back to selecting slot 1 and be done about it. Now, what's new about this program and what makes it different than the miner is about here, the miner would have turned to the left, turned to the right, whereas this goes to my comp, which is the only difference. And this is a very, very, very large procedure function, which should have been broken up into several smaller functions. Ideally, you want like every function to be 1 page worth of stuff. But this was one of these, well, let's just try to get it to work, then we'll make it pretty, and we never went back and made it pretty. Alright, so local function, myComp, we're going to call it skip here, and that skips some stuff if true. So when we call myComp, if we set skip to true, you saw down below when we called in my comparison program, back down here, we called it with the value true. So when we first call myComp from the main loop here, we set true, so we skip certain checks, but we'll cover that here in a second. And as you can see, I've set up some to-dos here. Check below the turtle, check immediately above the turtle. But we're going to start off the function by setting a variable digme to false, false, and false. And that actually sets up an array. Digme is not one variable with one value. It is actually 3 variables with 3 values, all accessed by calling on digme. Alright, so we start off in the middle of the level because we always come back to the centered level because it's just easier to make the turtle do things if he's always starting from the same point. But see, he always comes, he goes up and he goes down, but he always comes back to the center before proceeding on to the next. We turn to the left, so we're facing over this way right now. Alright, so if turtle detect true, meaning there is a block there, then we're going to compare it to 2 through 4, slots 2, 3, and 4. Select, and we're going to compare to what's in front of us to what's in those slots. That's the only way we can do this with standard turtle programming. And if it is true, if the comparison is true, then we're going to break out of this program, or break out of this section, and go on. So if the comparison is true, if any of these, if the block in front of us that we're looking at matches any of these here, let's add a 4th one here just for giggles, matches any of these things here, then it says true. Well, then it breaks out of this for loop and goes down here to the next bit. If it doesn't, however, if F makes it all the way to 4, then we're going to flag digme X, X being the level we're on here, as true, end. And actually that's a poor way of doing that. That should be 3 separate lines, then digme X, end. But I like, if it's a short thing like that, I like to throw it together. Now if we get all the way through all this, then if it's less than 3, meaning we're not finished with our little run here, we started out looking to the left here. I'm gesturing with my mouse, I hope you see that. Then turtle's going to turn right. So x equals 1 when it comes through the first time, turtle's going to turn right. X equals 2 when it comes through the second time, turtle's going to turn right again, and now he's facing this way. So the third time it comes through, x is going to equal 3, and this will be false, and turtle will not turn right again, because if he did, he'd turn down to facing this way, back where we're coming from, and we don't want to do that. Alright, so after all that's finished, then the turtle turns left, facing back toward the front here. Now we have basically the same thing we're doing again, except at a different level, and basically we end up doing the same scan on the bottom level, the middle level, and the top level. We use these flags, the digme flags, and some other stuff, so that we don't scan any more than we have to. And see, this goes on and on and on and on, and you'll have to download it from my website and go through it line by line till you figure it out, because I have written a program too complicated for me to remember what I was doing. All I can remember is the generalities, that he goes down here, he goes to the bottom, he looks here, here, and here, middle, here, here, and here, top, here, here, and here, and anything that doesn't match what's in his inventory, doesn't match what's in these 3 things, he flags that as something that needs to be dug. If not, skip, because if we say skip's true, then we're not going to do this part, or yes, dig straight ahead. So if digme 2, meaning the straight ahead direction, was true, then we're going to select 1 to make sure we put anything we find first in the first slot, then the second. Well, we're going to dig forward. That's what my dig does. It just digs forwards, digs above and below, and then we're going to call mycomp again for our new location. So it's going to go back up to the start of this and go again with a whole new set of variables, so that the program starts all over again, basically, from the new location. And again, it will scan left to right, top to bottom, flag the areas that need to be scanned, or flag the areas that need to be dug out, go forward, start again. And that's what the recursion part is that we call the same function over and over again. Now, the reason we do that is that when it comes back from digging, we just take a step back and we're back where we were. And because of that, each time the recursion calls one step further along, tick, 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 that's my one step further along. After it does everything, it's back to here, one step back, does whatever else it needs to do, one step back, and eventually ends up where it started. This is recursion. Now, I could have done that, implemented that on my own, and I almost did, but that would have made the program even more complicated. The downside of recursion is it uses more memory, because every time all this stuff that we've written here, every time we call mycomp again, then we've added another copy of all these variables, another copy of this procedure to the memory stack. And eventually you run out of memory if you get enough recursion. Now, so far I've not run out of memory, but I've not tried to run 16 of these at once on a server where everybody else is also running turtles. But I'm going to assume it works pretty well. So that was not, oh, and you're back. And you've dropped everything off. Good, good, good. So this little run here snagged us. So we started out with the stone. We started out with one piece of dirt and one piece of gravel. So he managed to only pick up 2.5 stacks of cobble and half a stack of dirt on his run all the way down here. 64 spaces. 64 times 3, no, correction. 64 times 9, because it's a 3x3 tunnel. 64 times 4 is 256. Double that is 512. So he would have had over 680 just cobble and other things here in this 3x3. If we'd used the miner and dug out everything, his inventory would have got a lot fuller a lot faster. As it is, since we did not dig the slots to the side, or did not dig the sides unless we had to dig here, I'm going to pick up some of this cobble so we can go down here and see what all he's done. See, through here, he did not see anything on the side, so he did not bother digging. And then when he got to here, doop, 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 torch, doop. He continued on, still not digging from side to side, as you can see. Turtles can fly. You see here, he dug the side, or possibly, yep, he dug to the side. Some stuff the mining program missed, and dug to the side. And when he came down here, he dug out all this. Finally got to the end and came back. So instead of bringing me back stacks and stacks of cobble, he just brought me back a little. Stacks and stacks of dirt, he just brought me back a little. His fuel level, yeah, this one's fuel level is only 54. We're not going to use you. Well, yeah, we will. We'll give him a whole thing of charcoal just in case he starts running out. We'll fill in our slots as necessary. Brancher, 256. And this is actually the furthest I've ever sent one out. And actually that may be too far now that I think of it, because I think it only loads like 10 chunks around us. And yeah, that may put him out of, we'll go out 100. Let's just go out 100 even. That's farther than I've ever sent one before. Coal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're good. And away he goes. Yep. So far he's not found anything worth following. And you can see that the total lack of something underneath here is not bothering him in the least when it comes to going. When I first started using the turtles, I thought they could only crawl across surfaces. So I'd have to make sure he got to a wall and then went up and then went forward. Alright, having mined down to this point, he has made a turn. Let's come over here to mine this. And now you see he will detect this ore over here and go to mine it. Then look around, and then when he decides there's nothing else to mine, he will back up. When he back up, he goes deep, 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 deep. And any second now, he should detect this. There it is. Detected that iron and came out here to mine it. Beep, 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 beep. Yes, I do have to make the beep beep noise. What about it? Okay, so far so good. He's about 28 out of the 100, or 28% into his thing. He has used a couple of pieces of coal, or at least I think so. I'm not sure how many I gave him, but if I gave him a full stack, he's used a couple of them. And you can see, watching him here, him scan through, looking at the dirt, or stone, looking at the dirt, looking at the gravel, before deciding if he wants to mine or not. I've also experimented in real life when I'm mining, which is how I've written Miner and Brancher. And by real life, I mean Minecraft. I will sometimes, if I'm bored, I will go through and mine all the dirt or gravel just because it's so easy to mine through. And I have played with the turtles doing the same, but it turns out the turtles will spend a whole lot of time clearing out the gravel or the dirt. Not enough diamonds and other things behind it to really make it worth the while. And he spends more time scanning around than he does actually digging, but scanning around doesn't use energy. It just takes a little time. Digging doesn't use energy actually either. Woohoo, he's got 2 diamonds now. But moving uses energy. So he went quite a bit of ways from his straight path here. And that's what the branch miner is supposed to do. It's supposed to, I'm going to cheat and put this in here so I can follow him. It's supposed to follow ores. So he's going down this thing. And here is something that the miner program wouldn't have picked up, even though it is picking up many more blocks than this thing is. In fact, I think he's probably about full anyway. Yeah, he's getting full. When he gets to this point, he will go back to the base. Okay, so he's not quite finished, but he did run into some coal here. And since he is running short on storage space, he will be backing back up here in a minute to store this back here. Really need to have him look above and below, as long as he's up there anyway. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty healthy coal seam. It goes pretty far off the beaten path here. And something I kind of glossed over when I was explaining the program is that when he's like on this level and he scans both ways, if he sees something like over to the left, when he goes down, he knows he doesn't have to bother scanning over to the left because he knows he's already going to dig over there. Now, he's still following that seam, so he's still mining, and he hasn't done the check yet because it isn't until he unwinds and comes back here that he'll check his inventory levels. And I did that for simplicity's sake because it makes it easier to get back to where he's going if he only comes to and from this main pathway while he's letting things off. But that could mean that if he's on one of these, follow the ore seam things, that he could completely fill up his inventory before he returns. And that's why I said as soon as you see something in slot 13 here, go back and check. Or go back and dump off. Alright, I think that's the last of the coal. So he's going to beep, 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 back, back, back. And then he's going to do some more because, like I said, I've just not got him smart enough to know that he's already looked at a certain location. The built-in program Excavate appears to do a pretty good job of tracking the turtle's location. And what I might do is borrow some code from that. Yeah, so he's decided he's full. He's running down here. See if I can beat him. Yeah, so he dropped off the excess from these and then dropped off everything else. And now he's going back. So I think I saw a fuel level of like 50 or something. And more importantly, I saw that he had actually used some of his charcoal. So he is fueling himself. Like I said, not smart enough to know he's already looked there. But yeah, we are down to 57 charcoal, so we know he is using the charcoal. While we're waiting for him to finish, I was going to show off a little of the sorting system I've got here. Items come up here. I think I've showed an earlier version of this. They come to this here diamond pipe, which filters things out. And all the zirconium and shards go the black direction. All the standard, non-interesting, boring stuff that appears in large quantities goes the yellow direction, and everything else goes the blue direction. So the yellow or the black direction actually goes down under and comes up under this chest. I think you can see the pipe there. So this is all the zirconium and shards I have, and actually I had a whole bunch more shards than this, but an earlier version of this put too much stuff in too small a chest. These are diamond chests. Here's all my ores and whatnot, and I don't know why these aren't stacking. It looks like they're different somethings. But I was about to say I only had one uranium. No, I got a whole stack of bent uranium. And this was before I realized you could make tools out of your rubies and sapphires and green sapphires. So all my tools were diamonds. So I've discovered quite a few more diamonds. And over here is where all the bulky stuff goes, which is why I have a wall of barrels here. That full of cobblestone, some sand, redstone, full of dirt, gravel, dirt. And every so often I just come up here and say put all the dirt, all the cobble in my inventory, double click, fill that up. Same with the dirt. And actually I need to do that to the lapis. I haven't made one for the lapis yet, have I? We'll do that right now. Lapis is going to be right over, let's say here. So we already have 6 stacks of lapis plus a little more. Alright, back down to the turtles. Someday I really need to figure out redstone modems, RedNet I think it's called. That allows the turtles to talk to other turtles and computers wirelessly. And I really need to figure that out, because anytime I send a turtle off and he's gone out of sight for just a few seconds, I start getting worried. I'm afraid that he's wandered off and got himself stuck somewhere, or he's wandered into a chunk that isn't loaded, you know, ran out of fuel, even though I have written programs specifically so that they don't run out of fuel. And it's all I can do just not to run down there and see where are you. But we're going to have faith that we've written this program properly and that he will come back. And naturally, as soon as I stop recording, he comes back. So here he is. See what he brought us. Yep. Dropping off everything, and oh, he's going back because he was at 99 of 100 steps when he ran out of room. So, what has he found us this trip? He's found us iron, some aluminum, a couple of zirconiums, some coal, 2 diamonds, some nickelite, redstone, flint, and lapis lazuli. It's not lupus, Jason. What I could have done is gone over a couple, put down a chest, put a turtle, send him off. Gone over a couple or 3, put down a chest, put down a turtle, send him off. Done the same thing over here, and that's often what I do. And then just run back and forth, sticking things in the central chest to have it sent up to the sorting system above. Only problem with that is you want to make sure that your turtles aren't too close together, because if one of them's following a mine, you know, mining this way, following some coal, and one of them is mining this way, following some coal, and they get together, they will mine each other. And you won't discover the problem until you look into a chest later, and there's a turtle sitting over here. And you say, oh, that's what happened to my other turtle. This turtle ate him and spit him back out over here. That's Eddie, the mining turtle Eddie. He's always getting into trouble. And apparently the way to make a turtle come back is to take off your headset. So, dup, he dropped. and and we're done, because we got the little blinky thing back here. So all that way down just to pick up 5 earth shards. But there you have it. We sent him out 100 spaces. If he was doing a 3x3 mine, 100 spaces would have been mining 9 times 100, 900 blocks. And instead we have quite a few. I don't know exactly how many we do have. Most of this charcoal he took with him to start with, so that doesn't count. But he found 10 more coal, and I think he used about 10 charcoal on the trip. And that's generally been my experience with the turtles. Usually they will bring back more resources than they use. And these 2 redstone engines will send all this stuff up. It will get processed. Yep, there goes some diamonds and redstones. Alright, so that is my branch mining program. After I use the miner program to do a little 3x3 mine, then I branch mine off the sides of it and put down a little chest for the turtles to put stuff in. And even though I'm using these iron chests now, which are about the size of a double chest, thanks to the turtles not digging any cobble or whatnot, they don't need to. They actually can get by with a standard wooden chest most of the time. Next episode, we will talk about using the built-in excavate program to mine out, and then of course using redstone engines to bring our ill-gotten gains back into the sorting system. Goes in there and comes into this iron pipe here, and goes to this sorting thing. But in the meantime, this is Uncle Troy signing out. Please have a good night.